So I warmly welcome everyone to this session. I hope you will enjoy this session. So this will be an informative session for you all. Okay. So before moving to the topic, let me introduce myself. I'm Shivaani Rajkumar, Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, also a third year Software Engineering Undergraduate at SLIIT. Another thing I want to mention is in between the session, one of our members will send a Microsoft form through the chat. Please fill that form to receive your certificates. Please fill the name you want to appear in on your certificate and your email address and your valuable feedbacks as well. Okay. So today our topic is Playwright testing tool. Some of you or most of you may have heard about testing and have experience in testing, like maybe Jest or maybe Playwright, like Cypress, Selenium, like that you may have experience. So Playwright is also a testing tool. This is a test automation tool developed and maintained by Microsoft. This is the logo of Playwright. I will explain many things about this. Okay. So the table of contents are, before moving to know about Playwright tool, we need to know why testing is important and the basic things of testing. What is the importance of the, testing likewise. Okay, then we will move to an introduction to Playwright. Then we will see uses of Playwright and we will move to a live demo. Okay. Okay. Why testing is important. So you may or may not have experience in creating web application or mobile application, right? So when you code, you may face some errors or bugs. So what you do at that time? You go and search for the error or bug and however you try to fix that, right? So however you try to complete or build your application. So even after you complete your application, you may face some errors or security related issues. Maybe you need to test your APIs or there may be issues in your user interfaces. So you need to test properly, right? So the amount you increase the testing, basically you are increasing the quality of your product because your customers are trusting you. You need to give some proper solutions to them. So testing is very important in that part. Okay, so if you see here, they are finding some errors and bugs. Okay, so if you're a developer, you may have experience in doing unit testing, integration testing, or maybe you have heard about functional, non-functional testing, black box, white box testing. Likewise, why we are having those separate kind of testings? So basically, there are like steps to like doing testing, like from the beginning, what are the steps we want to follow, those kind of things are there. So also there are something like we need to increase the test coverage, those kind of things are there. So I'm not going deep into the testing, but I wanted to tell that testing is important in our life as a developer. Okay, so Playwright is also a testing tool. This is a test automation tool. So why this automation, that word comes in? So think if you want to do something, you can go and straight and do, or else you can program something and doing a machine and instruct it to do that work. So that's how that word automation comes in. So Playwright is also a test automation tool developed and maintained by Microsoft. Okay, so there are several technologies, maybe like you can use Jest, Cypress, Selenium. So why we need Playwright especially? What are the things inside Playwright? So think if you want to know something you don't know about, you can easily understand if you compare with something you know, right? So that's how we are going to do now. So we are going to compare with Selenium versus Playwright. Don't worry about that. I will tell everything about Selenium as well. So let's move to the next slide. Okay, if you see here there's a test script. So think you have written something like open the browser and go to a new page and go to Spotify and write some songs, name in the search bar, click on search button, click on play button. Likewise, you have written some test code, things like that. Okay, so here this is Selenium. And in Selenium, they are mentioning as HTTP request. And what is an HTTP request now? Okay, so if you want to get something from this database, what you use, like get request, right? So if you want to post something, save something, you need to use post request. Likewise, there are HTTP requests, but when you send your request, it will go through an application programming interface, what we call as API. It will go through that, and the response from the server, it will also come through the API. So that's how Selenium works. Like if you want to open your browser, an HTTP request will go and you will get the response. Then the connection terminate. Then for click an element, it will execute the code line again. So that's how it works in Selenium. So you may have experience in like using error handling. You may have heard about those words, like try catch blocks. We use then catch. Why we need to use them? We know errors happen because we need to handle those errors. We need to know what are the errors happening, those kind of stuff. So that's a main point I want to talk later. So just remind that. Okay. So if you see this white color image, can you see there is a test script using WebDriver client libraries? That means inside Selenium, there is a test script. So think you are a Chrome user, you need to have Chrome driver. So if you are a Firefox user, you need to have Firefox driver. So inside Selenium, there is a test script which connects with the Chrome driver or a Firefox driver. So those drivers are the persons who connects to the browsers, right? So if you send your request, the browser will contact with connect with the web client and take the response and show that to you. So in Selenium, basically, I wanted to mention that it will execute the code one by one. That's how Selenium works. Okay. So if we take Playwright, how Playwright works. Here, can you see there is a test script? There is another thing which is a double-headed arrow. Below that, they are mentioning commands, and above that, they are mentioning like WebSocket. They are not mentioning HTTP request. Then what's WebSocket? So if you see this image, client is sending a request to server, then server is sending a handshake. What is that? So basically, if they get a handshake, until you complete all your code lines, it will not going to terminate your terminate the connection. So like if you take HTTP request, it will not like that, right? I have mentioned before, it will execute one by one. Also, if you see here, since they are having handshake, the errors are less. Also, the speed is high. So they are using WebSocket connection, that methodology in Playwright as well. So here, if you see I hope you can see commands. So commands in the sense the test line. That's why we call it as a single API. So in HTTP request, we need to send it through every single API for each code line, right? So here, since they are having handshake, they can perform all the commands in single API. That's what happens here. So hope you all got some idea about Playwright. And another thing I want to mention again is one of our member will send a Microsoft form in the chat. Please make sure to fill that form to receive your certificates. Okay. Okay. The uses of Playwright. Okay. It supports all modern rendering engines. Like you may use Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Opera. So if we take WebKit, maybe Safari. So likewise, it supports all modern rendering engines. Also, it supports cross platforms like macOS, Windows, Linux. So they're mentioning as locally or on CLI. What is that? So if you're building an application locally, you can install Playwright dependency and work on them. Or else you may have heard that word CI/CD pipeline as a developer. So what is that? Continuous integration and continuous deployment. You may have experience in connecting with GitHub and work. So those kind of stuff also you can use Playwright. And another thing is headless or headed. Okay. So normally if you have used testing technologies, you have seen in terminal like 3 tests passed, 5 tests failed, those kind of things you can see, right? But can you see what's happening in the browser? You can't. Sometimes you can't. So that's what we call as headless. But let's take the same example, like you want to go to Spotify, select a song, play the song, those kind of things. If you want to run the code and at the same time, if you want to see what's happening in the browser, that's we call as header. I'll show you everything. Okay. Then it support cross language like JavaScript, TypeScript, Java, Python, .NET. Okay. Then the next point is it helps to record videos and take screenshots. You can write some commands like at this point, take a screenshot and save it with this name at this path. Likewise, you can do. Also, you can give a command like at this point, start recording video. At this point, stop recording video. Also, there are things like mouse event clicks. Likewise, so those kind of things are there. And the next thing is tracing the execution. Tracing is completely different from you record videos. That means tracing means it will trace all your all your execution process. That means it will take screenshot and show you what are the elements you interacted with and what happened in every second. It will show all the thing. So we can do that thing using trace viewer. So basically it's different from you record videos. This is tracing. It will automatically do that for you for your whole execution. So the next point is auto test generation. Okay, think now you are building a web application. Okay, so or else you are going to test a web application. It's very the complexity is high maybe, or else you have a strict time, like you have a small amount of time to write code for the whole application. So at that time you can use this feature. That means there is a command I will show you, and I will show you how to work with that. There is a command. When you write the command and enter, a browser and a notepad kind of thing will open. So in that browser, you can go, maybe you can go to Spotify, you can blah, blah, blah. You do whatever you want. And at the same time, you can see it will generate code for you for the preferred language. You can select any language and do that work. So that's also a main benefit of auto test generation. Sorry, Playwright. Okay. Okay, now let's move to live demo. I wanted to mention that today we are going to see about JavaScript and TypeScript examples. So if you are going with Java, Spring Boot, those kind of things, you can use IntelliJ and all. So here I'm going to use Node.js and VS Code. So I would like to show you something in the browser. Yeah. So this is the page where I can download Node.js. Don't worry, this one of our member will send all the links in the chat. So here you can install Node.js. Also, this is official page to install Visual Studio Code. Okay, I have already downloaded them, so I don't want to download now. So there are several ways you can work with Playwright. Like first you can initialize the project using npm init, and you can install the Playwright as a dependency. Or else you can use another command, npm init playwright latest. If you use this command, it will create a folder structure for you. So if I go with like npm init and download the dependency, I'm the person who want to create all the folder structure. But if you go with this command, this below command, it will create a folder structure for you. Also, when you try to use this command, it will ask whether you want to go with JavaScript or TypeScript and so on. If you do not select something, it will defaultly select TypeScript. Okay, so now let's go with npm init and show you. And also another way to create Playwright structure, and I will show you that as well. Okay, let me go to VS Code now. Okay, so here in the terminal, I would like to enter like npm init. You can give npm init -y to select the default thing. So here also I'm selecting the defaults and pressing yes. Okay, can you see there's a package JSON? So here it has name, description, blah, blah, and all. Okay, now we need to install the Playwright dependency. npm I or npm install -t in the sense I'm going to save it as a dev dependency. So there are minor differences between dependencies and dev dependencies, like you can search about it, or like it will go more priority to dev dependency, those kind of minor things like that. Okay. Will take a few seconds. Okay. So yeah, done. So install the dev dependency Playwright in this version. So now I'm going to create a folder called test. Yes, test. Inside test, I'm going to create a file name like maybe navigate.js. Navigate.js. Okay. So if I want to run this file, I want to give the path like test/. So for easiness, in the terminal, I'm going inside the test folder. Okay, good. So here, today I'm going to use Chrome browser. So I want to import Chromium. So it will connect with our Chrome browser. Or if you're using Firefox, you can import Firefox. and so on. So I'm importing Chromium. Playwright. Okay. So if you're not, so there are so many ways to import like this way, or like import Chromium from Playwright. So for that, you can configure the package.json, right? Type as module, and you can do that way as well. So first we need to create a function. Inside that, we can mention some code lines to perform the task. So let me create a function which calls itself. It should be an asynchronous function. So I will tell why we need an asynchronous function. This is a JavaScript function which calls itself. Okay, so asynchronous. Why we need it? So as I have already mentioned, Playwright is a little faster than other technologies. Also, so think you're having several lines, hundred of lines. What if one of the line not executed? It will be a blast, right? So we need to wait until each code line executed. So we need to go with asynchronous function. So we can use await keyword and so on. So first I'm creating a browser constant. Why I want to create it? Browse. I will tell you why I want to create it. Okay, browser. So here, first I want to launch the Chrome browser. For that, I can uh, use a method launch. Okay. So after launching, I'm saving it is in a constant, so I can perform several tasks with that. Then after launching, I want to go to a new page. What can I do? Again, creating a constant. And by using browser, I can go to new page. So can you see here, there are several methods. There are many methods you can use for different purposes. So I'm going to a new page. Okay. So after going to a new page, let's go to Spotify. Oh, not today. So let me go to W3 schools. That's cool. So let me copy this URL. And after opening a new page, I want to navigate to W3 school, right? So sorry, I forgot to mention the await keyword here. Okay, await page. Just go to or navigate. There are several keywords to this. Okay, now let's check this. Okay, so after navigating, we need to close the browser, right? Browser dot close. That's it. So let's run and see. Node navigate.js. So when I run this command, it should launch the Chrome browser and go to a new page and go to W3 school, and it should close. Can you see anything? I can't see. Okay, so no, nothing happened. Why? Because yes, we are in headless mode. So as I have mentioned, if you want to see what's happening in the browser, we need to go into headed mode. So in Playwright, there are no such words like headed. Defaultly, it set the headless as true. So we need to set the headless as false when we launch Chrome browser. So here, when we launch, I can pass a parameter like headless false. Let's run it again and see. Okay, cool. It's going to W3. Okay, so here, if it's really fast, maybe you can slow down it using slow-mo for milliseconds. This is milliseconds. I'm slowing down into 200 milliseconds. Let's see whether it's slow down. Okay, a little slowness I can see. Okay, cool. This is good. So the next thing I want to mention is, so here, can you see this is a website? So there are several elements like drop downs, text box, buttons and all. There are links. So these elements, how we can interact? So you can interact with their class names or IDs or several unique things. So here I'm going to interact with IDs. So if I inspect this text box, can you see the ID? Search to. Okay, let me copy that and go here. Before closing the browser, I want to type something. Okay. Okay. First, if you want to type something, you need to pick that element. How we need to pick that element? Using their ID. Okay, let's see how we can pick. Search box, maybe search box. Okay, await. In this page, I want to give $sign. Inside that, pick this element with the ID search to. ID in the sense we want to put that hash symbol. After picking that, write something. Await, search box, type. Okay, let's type JavaScript. JavaScript. Okay. Run again. Okay, it's going to W3 schools. It's typing JavaScript. Closed. Now, even if it's very slow, you can give like some delays like this. Delay like 50 milliseconds like this. I'm not going to give. Okay, it's okay. Let's keep it. Maybe useful. Okay. So again, if I want to click this button, again search inspecting this element. Can you see this ID? Learn to code search button. Okay. Going again, a little fast. Constant button. Await. This page should pick this element with the ID of this. Then simply click on it. Sorry, await. Button. Click. Okay, cool. Let's run it and see. It may be a little slow because we gave a delay of 50 milliseconds, right? Okay. Clicked. Okay, cool. So we interacted with some elements, right? Okay, so the next part, taking screenshots. I just wanted to show something different. So let me comment this part. And so here it's going to W3 score. The next thing I want to take a screenshot. Await. Page, it's a simple screenshot. So inside it, you can give a path. If you give a path name as like this, like screenshot, sorry, screenshot.png, it will save inside test folder. Okay, I'm giving it as screenshot and .png. I'm going to save it as png. Let's run it and see. Okay, so here can you see the screenshot.png? Okay, so let me show in the file explorer maybe. Okay, cool. So this is the screenshot, but not satisfied. I'm not satisfied with this. No. Here, can you see this is a long page? Can you see? So it's taking the screenshot only for this part, only for this part. That's not enough. I need more. So if I go here, I can set the full page as true. And I'm changing the name as screenshot full. Let's run the code and check it. Okay, going. Okay. Okay, cool. So can you see there is a PNG called screenshot full? Let me show in the file explorer. Okay, cool. Can you see the screenshot? Okay. This is how we can perform with screenshots. Okay, now let's move to another thing like code auto generating. So as I have mentioned, this is the command npx playwright playwright.dev. Let's see what happens if I enter that. Enter. Okay, can you see that a browser is opening? Also a notepad kind of thing. What is that? Playwright Inspector. So inside Playwright Inspector, you can see the record option is there, copying option is there. Also here, the target is there. Target in the sense, here you can see a drop down, test runner. You can see Node.js, Java, Python, and .NET. So you can click any of these and you can perform the task. So in this browser, let me go to W3 School. Again. Okay. I'm clicking on it. Can you see it's writing code for you? So I'm searching something. It's writing still. SQL. It's writing. So it's generating code, right? It's generating code. So here in this copy, this icon, you can copy this entire thing and you can paste it in your file. Or else if you forgot to change the language to, for example, Python, you can still change it and the codes will change. Okay, that's a real good benefit of Playwright I want to mention. Okay, the next thing is Trace Viewer. Before moving to Trace Viewer, I want to mention something as I mentioned earlier. So if you go with npm init playwright at latest, it will generate a folder structure for you. And there is another way. There's another way. Let me show you. So if you have any experience in VS Code, you may know there's an extension button. So if I expand it, here you can search for extension. So if I search Playwright extension, you can see many playwrights are there, but still you can use this. Still you need to select the Microsoft verified one. Be careful about that. And you need to install it. So in Windows, maybe Control Shift P or Command Shift P, you can search for install Playwright. And here, if I click on install Playwright, it will ask like this. You can use Chromium or Firefox or WebKit. So if I can select 3 to test in 3 platforms, so I can select Chromium to only test in Chromium and select OK. If you select OK, you will get a folder structure like this. I hope you all can see the screen. So like this, we will get. So I have already created a folder structure using that. Okay, here can you see GitHub, Node modules, and below that test folder. If I open that, also I want to mention that since we don't mention the language like JavaScript or TypeScript, it will automatically select TypeScript and create a folder structure if you go with that extension. Okay. Here they are creating function like this. They're giving an heading like homepage playwright in title, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If you see here, page, they are going to this one. Also, they are performing some clicking tasks. Okay. So first of all, let's try to run this. Let's try to run this. Let's see what happens. Okay. How to run? npx playwright test to run the tests. To run all the tests. Okay. It's running. Okay. It will take some seconds. Okay. 3 passed. Now this is not enough for me. I want to see the report. So I can use this command. npx playwright, show me the report. Oh, it's redirected to a page like this. Okay, can you see Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit? Because we have selected like Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit, right? When we creating with that tick boxes and all using that extension. If I click Chromium, can you see the steps? It's going to this and it's clicking those events are those events it's doing. So there are tick marks, but still it's not satisfied. We show something like tracing. This is not very interesting. We need to trace it. That's then only it will be more interesting, right? So let's see about that as well. Okay, I'm going into the project. So here, can you see there's a config? So this is a configuration file. It has all the configuration for you all. Okay, so here inside this use, can you see the trace? So I can change it as on off, on first retry. There are several meanings for that. On means I'm owning the trace. Off means off. Likewise, there are several meanings. So here I'm owning the, I turned on the trace. And let's try to run the tests again. NPX Playwright test. Okay. Running 3 tests. Homepage has Playwright, that heading. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, passed. Now let's go to the report. Okay, let me click on this. Oh, wow. Can you see this? Let me click on that. Can you see here? There are several things. So here, there is actions and metadata data as well. So if I click action, can you see one by one? If I click to browser context new page, it went to a new page. Go to HTTPS, it went. Likewise, it takes all the screenshot and what were the actions you perform. So here, can you see a red button here? It's going to click that element. So how you interact with these elements. So all the shots are there. So if I go to metadata, can you see the started time, the duration, which engine I used, the width of the viewport, height of the viewport, and did I use mobile devices? Likewise, so those kind of things are there. Here, if you like, there are some things like you can test your APIs and authentication. Those kind of things you can test. If you test your API, so here in this right side panel, you can see the network tab and all the 200 codes, HTTP requests and all. Everything will be appear. So if I move my cursor on this white box above, can you see? Can you see? There are small boxes are there and I move around it. Here, if I move around it, it's clicking on get started. Can you see? So those kind of tracing things will happen. This is trace viewer. Okay, cool. We covered that part as well. So the next thing I want to tell is, so let me go to the documentation and show you something. Okay, so here you can, in the drop down, you can select Python or Java, Node.js and all. If I go to docs, clicking Node.js, here in this left panel, you see API testing. So how we can work with that? So here, can you see they are mentioning in the config, I showed you that config file. They are using the base URL. They are mentioning the tokens, the headers. So here, if you want to perform some get request, so here they are getting some request and expecting which is equals to this one. So likewise, you can do some testing and you can test whether that's equal to the response you got. Also, in this post request, you are posting this object. Likewise, there are several things. And also, if I go to authentication, I can show you like here they're using for Playwright for authentication purposes and all. So there are several things. So I'm not going to cover everything. And if you want me to write some blog articles or do another session on explaining these things as well, you can mention in the chat. Okay. So the next thing is how it works in Java. As I mentioned, you may have IntelliJ or you have done several projects in Spring Boot. Okay, let me go to the documentation and show you. So if I click on Java, if I go to getting started, can you see this? So can you remember we created a browser constant and launched. Then we go when we went to the new page, then to the W3 school. Likewise, yeah, here they are creating a browser object and launching and going to a new page, navigating. Also, as in JavaScript console log, here it is system out println, right? So they are using system out println to get in the console. So likewise, if I go click on form.xml, so dependencies. So in JavaScript, we have installed Playwright dependency. Likewise, here there's a dependency for Playwright for Java as well. So you can input this and you can perform your task. Okay, so those are the things I wanted to cover. I hope Okay. Wait, let me check about the Microsoft Forms and all. Okay, cool. Okay, please fill this Microsoft form to get your certificate. Please clearly mention please do not keep any spelling mistakes. Okay, so you can find the important links. Those things are also there. So those are the things I wanted to mention. Thank you for participating. And if you have any questions, please ask me on LinkedIn. Okay, so thank you for participating. Let me connect with another session then. Thank you so much. That's all for the session today. Thank you.